Hi everyone, I'm Sundray9, and welcome to another Dragon discussion. And the topic I want to talk about today is something I've thought about a lot over the past years, really, but really thought about it the past couple of weeks, and it's something I want to bring up and get your thoughts on, because it's something that I feel affects all of us that play video games. I'm talking from casual gamers all the way up to hardcore gamers and everybody in between. Just gamers in general. And that is multiplayer communities. Now when it comes to casual games, there aren't as many multiplayer games, but they're out there, I'm sure. Me, I'm closer to the more hardcore gamer. I play a lot of video games. I've played a lot of video games for a long time, long period of my life. And so I've seen the evolution or de-evolution of multiplayer communities. And what the main crux of this is going to be, I'm just going to come out and say it, they're terrible now. They just are. Overall, now there are pockets that are still good, but overall, multiplayer communities have become just terrible. And this doesn't go just for multiplayer games. I'm going to be talking about games in general along with this, because they really go hand in hand. Just gamers in general and how the multiplayer community really fits into that. But I want to say, first of all, that there are helpful gamers out there. There are Let's Players like me that care about video games, care about the people that play them, try to look at all angles of games. But I feel we're few and far between, and that's the problem. I would like the gamer community to really take a step back and look at themselves, because overall, I think the gamer community has gone from being critical, which is great. You should always be critical of game makers and really make them think about what they're doing, what works, what doesn't work. That way games get better. That's great. It's good to be critical and thoughtful. The problem is, now overall, I don't know what happened. I don't know if it's just society these days, which is completely possible, but there's always the saying, does entertainment reflect society, or does society reflect entertainment? And that'll be a question that I think will never really go answered. But just talking about multiplayer communities, they're terrible now. And I'll say that. There are some that are helpful and nice, but overall, they're unhelpful. They're corrosive. And that's a huge problem. People feel entitled just because they have a lot of experience with the video game, and I hate that. Just because you have a ton of experience, you can feel a little entitled. I won't lie. Whenever I play an RPG, I like to show off my skills, show off my knowledge. Yeah, it does make me feel good, but I do also show off the game the way I do as a Let's Player to help you, to help the viewer, to give my insight as a veteran, to help out those that really don't know RPGs. I feel that's my duty as a veteran of games, especially RPGs, which can be hard. It can be hard to pick up on, especially for people that don't have experience with it. I feel it's my, like I said, my duty, my place to help those that don't have as much experience. It's what's in society. Elders help out those that are inexperienced. Veterans help out rookies. That's just the way it works. And I feel that's my... I love taking on that role, because also I'm just a very helpful person, and I take great pride in that. The problem is most people don't. And I'll take, for example, I guess the quintessential example of all of this is the Call of Duty community. Yes, it's competitive. I get it. It's a competitive game. But there's no reason for the trash talk. There's really not. I just don't understand. Don't you want people to get better? That way you have a better opponent. That way you get better. I've tried to always look at it that way. Now, don't get me wrong. I can be a highly competitive person. You all really haven't seen that side of me because I don't play a lot of multiplayer games, a lot of competitive games. I don't take the joy in them like I used to. And that's one of the reasons why. It's just there's no help there. But I'll take it one step further because I can kind of understand it's competitive. You don't want to help the opponent, right? Even though I don't condone it. When a co-op game, when that community gets corrosive and unhelpful, I really start to doubt what's going on. And I'll take Payday 2 for example. Now I love Payday 2. It's a blast to play. But I feel like the community got corrosive and unhelpful. I just play with friends now. Now that's not to say that all gamers are bad. I'm an example. You're probably an example of one that's not. There are a lot of helpful people out there. I'm just talking in general. There are more people that are just corrosive and unhelpful than there are that are helpful. And what boggles my mind is you're playing a co-op game. If you're playing a co-op game, don't you want to succeed? Why are you cutting people down? Oh, noob, you didn't get this right. Don't say that. Teach them. Teach them the right way to do it. That way, they're better the next time. If you were doing a pro job on Payday 2, you can run. We'll just call it. It's a heist, but it's a mission. You can run the mission over and over again unless it's a pro job. In which case, if you fail, you get kicked back out and you have to take a new mission. If you're playing with somebody that's new, teach them. I can't stress this enough. And yes, your patience may get worn thin, but you'll make the community better for it. Because they'll be like, oh, there's really helpful people here. And then they'll pass the teachings along. And the game gets better as a whole. I don't understand with games that are co-op or you're on the same team, why you cut down your teammates. Even if you're playing a competitive game, when you cut down your teammates, oh, noob. Teach them and make them better. And then they'll be better the next time. They were on your team. I just can't get this through my mind. Now, if the person doesn't want to learn, then that's on them. And you can just ditch them. That's always been my stipulation. I'll teach you if you're willing to learn. Because if they're not willing to learn, then it doesn't do any good. But if you tell them, hey, that's not the way to do this. If you do it this way, it'll go much better. And they're willing to listen to that, then it'll go better. So there's fault on both sides. New players need to be willing to listen to veteran players, and veteran players need to be willing to teach the new players. If you do this, then just overall, the community will get better. It won't be this corrosive. And I keep going back to that word, because that's the best way I can describe it. It just falls apart. And these games wonder why they just eventually dissolve and fall apart. And I'm talking about multiplayer games. Well, there's a reason for that. As new people try to get into a game, the quote old guard, unquote, which I've been a part of a lot of times, most of them become very cliquish And if you don't know that word, it's when a group of people become really tight-knit, but they don't allow insiders in. And that becomes a huge problem. And so your community slowly dies out. And sometimes it quickly dies out. You need to change your focus. The problem is, I can tell just by my community, you all are not the people that need to hear this. It's a lot of other people that do. But I just want to make my thoughts known. And if you want to share this, on Facebook or tweet it out, feel free. And if I end up getting blasted for it, so be it. But this is the truth, and this is what I see. And I think it's important to recognize. It's sad. It saddens me as a gamer and just overall as a hopeful person. Like I said, the biggest just mind-blowing thing is this is happening in co-op games where the purpose is to help your teammates. It just blows my mind how many times I've been on both sides of this, where I've been one of the veteran players to a game and seen other veterans just shun the newbies and people that want to learn and want to enjoy the game, but they can't get into it because either the game's hard or the game has gotten harder over the years for new players to get into. And they want to enjoy the game, but they need somebody to teach them. And then I've been a new player in games, gotten to the party late, or just wanted to try out something new, and been shunned by the old guard, which is really weird because I have a lot of experience in video games. Go figure. But I've been on both sides of this coin, and like I said, fault lies on both sides, but it lies a lot more with the veterans, if you ask me. And you may be doing your own thing. I get that. But if you go into, let's say, a low-level area, or you start a new character and you're in a low-level area, and somebody asks you a question, remember where you were when you were a new player. And think about what that new player is going through. It's easy to forget where you started. That happens a ton in games. And there are a lot of immature gamers out there, I get it. They'll learn, they'll grow up. But there are a lot of good gamers as well that want to learn, but they just get shut out. And it's very sad. Excuse me. Now, shifting gears really quick, there's one other point I want to talk to you about all of this. And it's the fact, and I keep going back to Payday 2 because I've been playing this, picking it up again with a couple of friends. And it just reminded me of another thing I wanted to talk about. How entitled some gamers are. And you can say this about society too, how some people are just really entitled. And like I said, I'm painting a broad brush just because this is what I see. I know that this isn't everybody, that there are a ton of good people out there, but I'm seeing this trend grow, and so it's why I want to bring it up. And you got to remember, I have a lot of perspective on this. I've seen games grow, evolve, as I've grown and evolved over years. I just about grew up with video games, and so I've seen it change. And gamers are really entitled, and there's actually a little bit of good that comes with this. We expect more, which is good. That pushes developers to keep making better games. We should always expect better. We should always expect greater. We should push them to get better and greater. But sometimes, and again, I go back to Payday 2, you can go too far, and you can feel really entitled. I used to think Payday 2 was one was a great shooter. It was a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with friends. And this is, let me remind you again, a purely co-op game. It's you and your 3 friends, or however many you play with. It's up to a team of 4 against the AI. Okay? There's no players to go up against. It's you and your team of players versus the AI. Period. So, people complained about the game being too easy. Now, I had the heaviest armor in the game. That's the tree that I went down. You have paths you take, for those of you that haven't played it. There are paths that you take. I took the one that gives you the upgrade to the heaviest armor everybody can wear to just this even more heavy armor. There are 4 difficulties. Now there's 5, but I'll get into that. There was normal, hard, very hard, and overkill. Now, why it's overkill is because that's the company, Overkill Studios. So, overkill being the hardest difficulty. Cool. People were complaining that overkill was too easy. Now, I don't know what these people were doing. I don't get it. If you ran the same mission, because there used to be a mission you can run easily. You still can. And get good money and good EXP in like 2 minutes. If you're that person, oh, and that's all you play, and then, oh, the game's too easy. Go play one of the harder missions, fool. and tell me about it. Because me and my friends would try to run everything. And we'd run one of the hardest missions on Overkill. We'd get stomped. So, I don't know what these people were talking about. And I'm not the best person at shooters, but my friend Kung Fu Squirrel, he's great at shooters. And my friend, another one of my friends, Dr. Hoovian, who I play with, he's really, really good at shooters too. So, and I'm no slouch myself. And we'd get destroyed. It was hard. I don't know what these people were talking about. But, whatever. Enough of the community complained that Overkill decided to make the game extremely hard. That's good. That's good for those people now that the game is extremely hard. But again, now your community will slowly dwindle because new players can't get started unless old players get involved and try to help the new players along. But I've not seen this. So, I got on a friend's account who's barely started. And decided, okay, I'm going to try to join these rooms. Normal, even hard, because I have experience playing the game, but they don't know that. To see if, you know, they'd help me along. I'd play dumb. And just to get the temperature of the room. I played a good, dozen and a half games. I know, a very small sample size, I get that. But, hey, it's only me doing it. I only have so much time. And the majority of them, it's one thing if you don't feel like talking to other people, I get that. But they took the time to cut me down and wondering why I'm even playing this game. I'm playing the game because I want to try it and have fun. But you're not helping me. I tried to play like a new player. Now, I still played decently well, but I didn't have the gear that these people have. You know, that's to be expected. And I'm playing just low-level missions. If you're an old player playing low-level missions, and some new player shows up and doesn't know what to do, and then you berate them, that's just wrong, sir or ma'am. And you need to think about what you're doing. Anyway, that was by far my experience. Now, I did have, I would say, I said I played a dozen and a half. I actually played more than that, now that I think about it. I played a couple dozen dozen matches. And I did have a few groups that were really helpful. They're like, oh, hey, you know, they could tell, because you have a level in the game, so you can see when somebody's new. And asked, hey, are you new to Payday? And I said, yeah, I'm pretty new to Payday. You know, I'm not sure exactly how to run these heists yet, and kind of what gear I should. And they were extremely helpful. They gave advice, and advice that, in my mind, I was like, that's really good advice. You know, that's kind of the advice I would try to give to new players. And they were really helpful. So again, I know I'm painting a broad brush, and I just want to reiterate that there are a lot of good gamers out there that are helpful, that are nice, and you need to find them. If you are new to a game, the problem is they're not as prevalent, or they're harder to find than they should be, because there are a lot of people that are unhelpful and entitled, and that's not good for the gaming community. So, let me know what you think about all of this. I've said my piece on it, and now, as with these Dragon discussions, it's your turn to voice what you think. Do you agree? Disagree? Remember, there are no wrong answers. Maybe I'm just not looking in the right places, or maybe I'm not, I don't have the full picture. You know, maybe you look at it another way. There's nothing wrong with that. Just let me know what you think, because I'm curious. So, until the next video, thank you very much for watching, for listening. And, as always, feel free to voice your opinion. That's all this is an opinion. There's nothing wrong. Keep it nice, because that's what this is all about. Being nice, voicing your opinion, getting different thoughts out there. So, until the next video, I'm Cinderay9. Remember to shoot for the stars, and take care, everyone.